4 times title holder.
In August 2022, the 91 Trackhouse Chevrolet lined up for the starting grid at Watkins Glen. Behind the wheel, one of the greatest open-wheel racers of all time, Kimi Raikkonen. This represented Trackhouse Project91 achieving its goal of becoming, quote, the intersection of NASCAR and global motorsports culture. This was further boosted by Raikkonen fighting his way through the field up to 8th, including an epic battle with Chase Elliott. While the afternoon would end early for Raikkonen, after being collected by the 27 and being sent into the wall, the weekend was a success for Trackhouse and for NASCAR, with huge viewership boosts for the time Raikkonen was on track. So what will we see from Trackhouse next year, and who will be in the hot seat? Seeing Kimi back in NASCAR would be my preference, especially since he's the first driver I ever followed in racing, since I owned a Lego Ferrari that came with a minifigure of the Iceman. But there's a lot of interesting candidates who could make an appearance. Let's start off the list with a pipe dream, but one we wouldn't mind seeing. Candidate number 4, Danica Patrick. An officially retired driver who we hope could be lured back to the 91 is Danica Patrick, who's driven both NASCAR and IndyCar at Watkins Glen. She has no shortage of experience at the famous circuit and has often run strongly there, including leading 11 laps of the 2016 Cup Series race. Having a driver with Danica's profile run Watkins Glen would be great for Trackhouse's aims for the project. Given Danica's retired status and her time commitments with her rapidly growing Pretty Intense podcast, and her commitments to Sky Sports F1, this is an entry on the list that might not be too likely. But seeing Danica back behind the wheel would be a great boost to the as always underrepresented feminist movement in the sport. At number 3, we have the versatile Colombian Juan Pablo Montoya. He's raced in NASCAR, Formula 1, IndyCar and LMP2, and has boosted NASCAR's audience in South America and Europe more than most other drivers on the grid. Like Kimi, Juan Pablo Montoya is a name known in motorsports globally, and represents a generation of super fast driver who's wrestled an era of technical evolution and change across a wide variety of formulas. A former pole sitter at the Glen in NASCAR, it wouldn't be unlikely if Montoya were able to fight for the win in the 91, given his history in the state of New York. And seeing him in the car is made even more possible by the relaxing of his commitments in the last year, only having run 2 IndyCar races both at Indianapolis with Arrow McLaren, and a very uncluttered LMP2 schedule. Given his mixed success levels in his full-time years in the Cup Series, Montoya's return would come as a surprise, but his level and stature make him exactly what Project91 is looking for. So we'll just have to wait and see. Number 2, Logan Sargent. One of the highest profile Americans in European racing right now is surely Williams F1 reserve and 2-time Formula 2 race winner Logan Sargent. Making his practice debut at the 2022 United States Grand Prix in Austin, Logan is one of the hottest up-and-coming prospects in the open-wheel world, and upon him rests the FIA's hopes of capturing the American audience for F1, given the lack of boost that's come from the introduction and poor results of the Haas F1 team. Running in a Cup Series race could rejuvenate F1's popularity in the USA in the wake of multiple scandals surrounding the sport, and Logan driving the 91 could prove the perfect vehicle for everyone involved. It wouldn't be the first time a young F1 prospect has run in the Cup Series. Daniel Kvyat still drives the 26 part-time. But an American driver making waves in the EU could be the perfect recipe for Trackhouse's success. And finally, we have the number 1 pick, Daniel Ricciardo.
As Ricky Bobby said, I just want to go fast.
Australian fan favourite Formula 1 driver Daniel Ricciardo is a name that's been floating around the NASCAR community for a while. The ever-smiling Ricciardo has a history with the USA, with Austin's Circuit of the Americas being his favourite track, and his well-documented love of rodeos and Stetsons making him one of America's most supported drivers in F1. With the Australian confirming recently that he won't be on the grid for a race seat in next year's Formula 1 season, perhaps the 91 car is calling his name. And this doesn't seem that unlikely with Daniel's recent drive around COTA in Dale Earnhardt's famous blue and yellow Wrangler machine. I'd absolutely love to see Daniel get his shot up against the big boys of the Cup Series. He's a driver who loves the publicity and spotlight, and thrives on pressure when he's given a competitive ride. Many of his fans and critics alike have to acknowledge his speed and talent on 4 wheels. So it would be certain for Project91 to boost NASCAR's popularity down under, giving Daniel the wheel and letting him strut his stuff. Who do you think should get the drive in the 91 next season? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment, or you can send me your suggestions on Twitter at Need4Speeding. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you